Welcome to the studio. We've got a great iron performance review. We've done the driver one recently, so if you haven't seen that, click the link in below and check it out. So we've got the Callaway Rogue, we've got the TaylorMade M4 and the Cobra F8. I'll put these boys in the middle category. You've got the small, middle and large category. Small, forged, feel, playability. Large, big, bulky, powerful, middle. You've got the combination of the two worlds, so you've got that little bit of forgiveness in there still, a little bit of that feel in there, so you've got the best of everything really. I think it's a good category, so when you're trying those clubs out, work out that first and then stick to that category, and then it's quite personal preference from then on. So we hit 3 shots with each club. We've got slightly different lofts, we've got slightly different shaped heads, so it'll be very interesting to see the difference in performance. We'll take a closer look at the heads first, get those details, and then hit those shots down there. Right, so here's our 3 heads. We've got the Callaway Rogue on the left, the Cobra F8 in the middle, and the TaylorMade M4 on the right. We've got the Callaway Rogue with 30 degrees of loft, we've got the M4 with 28.5 degrees of loft, and the Cobra F8 with 29.5 degrees. Each one has got that different technology in it. So our Callaway Rogue has its 360 face cup and a VFT available face thickness. Our Cobra has got its new forged PWR shell with its E9 technology, and our M4 has got its ribcore speed pockets face locked technology. So that all sounds pretty fantastic. Let's see if it makes a difference in performance, shall we? Right, Callaway Rogue time. Okay, so we've got 30 degrees on this compared to the M4, 28.5, F8, 29.5. It's got a thicker leading edge, so it does look a bit lumpy at address, but it does look very forgiving. So that's quite personal preference on that forgiveness side compared to that feel side, that playability. So let's have a hit and see how it performs. Nice strike, feels nice off the face, quite a bit of spring to it, quite a reasonable distance, so that's right, that's quite good for me. So that was 163 yards carry, ball speed 110, backspin on it was a little bit low, so like 3,000. We'll have a closer look at those figures in a minute, but that was a good start. Did feel good spring off the face. Let's hit another one down there. Same again, reasonable strike, slightly straighter this time so I didn't get that left hand spin on it. It does feel nice and easy, it feels very forgiving, so that was just a bit off the toe. It's got 108 ball speed, 158 yards, which slightly off the toe hit. That's done well, really good. So yeah, that felt better than that really, so that's a good sign. So right, last one. Right, that fell right out the screws, right out the middle. Oh, and I've only hit the stick, come on. Right, so 108 ball speed on that, pitched literally in the hole at 159 yards, but really did feel good. That felt had some power in that, real spring behind it. Only downside I would say, it does look a bit big at address. So someone who's looking for that playability might be put off slightly, but very forgiving and feels good off that face, definitely. Right then, let's have a go with the M4, shall we? Just before we hit that M4 down there, I just wanted another sneaky look at that last one. Whoa, come on. Almost slam dunked it. Right then, let's get on with that M4, shall we? M4 now. So it's slightly lower lofted, so 28.5 degrees compared to 30. It's got a slightly thinner leading edge on it, so at address it looks a little bit more playable than the Rogue, but has it got the same forgiveness? Let's hit it down there and find out, shall we? Definitely looks a little bit better at address. Not too bad, not a great strike, but it was alright. As you said, it's done right on distance, it's similar to the Rogue there, so 163, 109 ball speed. So similar to the Rogue there, I didn't quite catch that, so for a slightly off centre hit, that did quite well. Right then, next ball. Quite a good strike on that. That felt quite solid. Slightly longer than the Callaway, but you'd expect that. It's lower lofted, so it should go longer. 165 yards, 111 ball speed, and the backspin was quite similar. Yeah, so that's a good sign. So right, let's hit one more. A little bit left, right at the middle rope. Oh yeah, just a little bit left on it. Only a slight pull, still on the green. So 162 yards, 109 ball speed. Spin was still alright. I say compared to the Rogue, the TaylorMade M4 just looks a little bit more playable. So the Rogue is very similar to the Rogue X. I think they've made two models which are very similar. The Rogue Pro would be, say, more in that middle category. So the Rogue is too close, I say, to that Rogue X. That's that where you're looking for just a bit of power and forgiveness. The M4, I say, would beat that on playability and forgiveness. It did feel nice and forgiving as well. It felt nice off the face. Right then, let's have a go with the F8, shall we? How we save best till last? So now we've got the Cobra F8, 29.5 degrees, so splitting right in between our Rogue and our M4. Right, let's have a look, see how she performs. Looks a bit more playable at dress. Might get a bit more feel from it. Will we get that forgiveness? Will we get that power? Let's find out, shall we? But yeah, it definitely looks a little bit thinner, looks a little bit longer at dress, the club face. Quite a nice strike, felt a bit more solid off the club face compared to the others. So that's quite personal preference, so it felt harder. Some people like a soft feel, some like a hard feel. That's down to you. So ball speed 110, carry 157, so quite similar to the others. Right then, let's hit another one down there. Good strike again, similar shape. Yeah, pitched all amongst the others in the same sort of grouping. So 163 yards carry, full speed 111. So that's kept up with the others. So yeah, that's quite interesting, yeah. Right then, it's ball number 3. A little bit straighter on that one. Quite catchy, it's still quite a good strike. Wasn't my best, but it wasn't too bad. Let's have a quick look. It's 105, so a bit lower down on that one, and 155, so a little bit lower on that one, but I didn't quite catch that one. But still felt quite forgiving, but a different feel to the other two. That was definitely harder. The Callaway was the softest, Cobra was the hardest, and TaylorMade in between the two. The Cobra looks more playable at a dress. The Callaway looks quite big and chunky kind of thing as such, to be honest. So that more potentially is you're looking almost in that different category, very similar to the Rogue X. So it'll be a good head-to-head with the F8 and the M4 if you're trying those clubs kind of thing as such. Chuck the Rogue in there to see. We'll have a quick closer look at those figures. As you can see, all pretty similar really, to be fair. If you look at the ball speed on the Rogue, you've got a finish of 109.3 average, Taylor 109.7, and the F8 at 109. So quite similar on the ball speed. Backspin is in the same ballpark as well. So you can see the Rogue 3,876, the Taylor slightly lower at 3,447, which is what you expect on that because that's slightly lower lofted, and then the Cobra is 4,024. So they're all quite similar. The Taylor's just snuck the distance, so 163, which you'd expect because it's a lower loft. And then you've got the Callaway at 160, and then the Cobra at 158. But I did slightly miss hit that last shot, so you've got to take that into account there really. But they did look different out of dress, so the Rogue, like I said, did look bigger, and then you got the M4 and the F8 did look more playable, but the Rogue did feel really forgiving. So it would be good. It's a really good head-to-head, and it's quite personal preference on which one you prefer. The Rogue felt softer, the Cobra felt harder, the TaylorMade felt in between the two. But like I said, it's quite personal preference. But on the figures, there's nothing massively outstanding between all three, which is quite similar to when I'd done the driver fit as well. So my conclusion on that is that it is, same as the drivers, very personal preference. You've got different looks, you've got different feels, you've got different looks at dress, you've got different feel of the face. So it is very much down to you what you prefer, soft feel, a hard feel, a big head, a slightly smaller head, a slightly longer head, and it's just down to you. They're all good clubs, you've just got to put them in the mix. There isn't a bad one out there at the moment. Just make sure, like I said, you get the right category. The Callaway Rogue is very similar to the Rogue X. It is a slightly smaller version of it, but just put them in the mix. There's no harm in it. Try and walk into a fit open-minded. Try not to be too blinkered. So then you just go on performance, and if the performance isn't massively different, then that's fine. Just go on the feel of and the look of the club. There's nothing wrong with that. Or just buy yourself a new set. What's wrong with that? You don't have to justify yourself or just purely on performance. If you want to treat yourself, then treat yourself. Any questions or comments, send them through. Give the video a good thumbs up. Press that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.